how long are you going to live in retirement? You ready for this? First, line one, what's your life expectancy? How long do you think you might live, period? Now, this is just between you and that piece of paper. We're definitely not polling anyone for this. Your average life expectancy is somewhere, let's say, if you're in your, say, early 60s or late 50s now, the life expectancy, let's call it 80-ish, maybe 90-ish, depending on your genetic makeup. So pick a number. I don't care what it is. If you want to live to 103, put it on there. That's great. And then subtract, or the next line, I want you to put your age at retirement. You're going to be 60, 65. How old is an ideal age for retirement? Again, this is between you and your piece of paper. No one else needs to know this necessarily. Subtract that out, and then you have years in retirement. How many years are you going to spend in that window we call retirement? Excited about 30 years not working and acting like a teenager where I have my bills paid, I got monthly income and no responsibilities. Wouldn't that be great to be a teenager with money? So that's what retirement can be for you if you want it to be. The catch is, what if I run out of money, right? And how am I going to manage this money for now 2 and 3 decades? You need to make sure that this money is going to last that long haul, right? You got your basic pension, Social Security, but your assets are covering that gap, and they need to do that for a long period of time. So think about your withdrawal rates and how you're investing the money over that long period of time, which leads me to inflation, right? I told you there were two enemies, right? Taxes, number one, and inflation, number two. 1978, what were you paying for a stamp? Here it is, 15 cents. What do we pay today? 50 cents. The percentage increase of that, 15 doubled a couple of times in that time frame, in that period of time. Large increases. Excuse me, I need to get a sip of water. Large increases have taken place in the cost of everything in your lifetime and in mine. I was writing, if you were on the webinar earlier, you happen to see the back side of my screen. So I have 4 children, 16, 12, 11, and 5. My wife and I will celebrate 21 years of marriage this year. So we have a lot of fun. But just this morning, I was talking to them as I went by the gas station with over $2 a gallon gas, and I was talking about how good it was to have, in my day anyway, 89-cent gas. And you know, we'd go find it on sale, 79 cents every once in a while. Boy, those are just great days compared to what we have now. So we reminisce about the cost of things in the past. And don't think that this inflation that's happened over the last 40 years won't happen again. That's coming again if we continue to repeat the past, which typically that's the way it happens. Inflation slowly increases. So you have some inflation protection in your pension and a little bit in your Social Security. Most people say their Social Security raises get eaten up when the cost of Medicare increases. So don't get excited about Social Security increases. But with your pension getting COLAs, that's great. You also need to be prepared that your assets may need to spend off more income over time to cover your gap, because inflation may cause your gap to increase. So as you're factoring in your long-term plan, yes, you have to figure out, how do I cover the gap today? How do I make up that $300, that $1,000, that $2,000 a month gap with my assets today? And then how is that gap going to change in the future? Am I going to pay my house off in 5 years, so it's going to be a smaller gap? Is it just going to get to be a bigger and bigger gap as inflation eats away at my buying power of my pension? You need a plan that has some of that built in, and think through those elements. So as we look at income and we look at retirement planning, I want you to put these pieces together in practical application. Apply them to you. Force yourself on, I'm going to say this dirty word, you ready? Budget, on a retirement budget, and make it work before you step in. Then you can walk successfully into retirement, having light on that path, as opposed to just working through the darkness on that front.